This holiday season, every time you purchase a 12-ounce SnortBucks coffee, a portion of the proceeds will be given to the PED Foundation, the world's premier charity dedicated to helping down-on-their-luck content creators pay their daily bills.
I need that money. I really do. I need that money. I need my bills, the electric bill, the internet bill.
So stop by your local SnortBucks today and help send some penny their way.
Boy, all over the world.
Cookin Soul.
So let's go ahead and get ourselves started with this, and then we'll see if we can make things right. So season's greetings and happy holidays from everyone here at GTG Network and Productions. This is 25 days of Goutmas. I don't actually know what order this is going to be in. So that's the thing. Since we're going for 25 days, like the first 13 days or whatever, I'm just kind of recording them when I'm recording them. 12 days will probably give you guys a bit more consistency, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just expect 25, 26 videos from me. And that's pretty much the situation if you smell what I'm cooking. So so like I said, hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully whatever day this decides to hit you, hopefully your holiday season is going well. Stay safe out there, peoples. And yet again, if you guys have learned anything from me, don't wait till the last minute to do your shopping. Don't wait till the last minute to do your shopping. In any case, let's get into this nonsense by checking these buttons, so to speak. So I had said that I was going to talk to you guys a little bit about some FGC bullshit and some of the lolcows that are in the FGC. Not necessarily classified as lolcows, but they have lolcow characteristics. And we're going to bring up one of those situations right now. And in with a player who's been accused of some pretty fucked up shit himself, basically defending pedos. And giving his take on why the North America in particular is not holding superiority in the Smash community compared to the Japanese. And he says that he basically said that the pedophiles that were ousted out, most of them haven't been ousted, by the way. If anything, a small demographic compared to what's really out there. The pedophiles were basically, according to him, the pedophiles were the actual rock stars. And because of that, it's basically speaking to why Japan has more dominance over us and why there are less and less females at some of these events, because the rock stars were the pedophiles and they quote unquote ousted the pedophiles. So now there ain't no chicks there, whatever. I'm going to bring that up later because those same women are some of the reasons why his ass got himself in trouble and why he got ousted up and out of the Smash community in the first place, amongst other things and whatnot. But, in any case, let's go ahead and get into our situation. Let's go ahead and set our atmosphere and everything. And we're here with button check and whatnot. Like I said, I'm going to give you guys a two-parter. He's going to show back up later in the rotation. For sure. Because someone else ain't come about the works with some DSP-like tendencies himself. And I feel that that's kind of a funny thing to bring up. So anyway, season's greetings and happy holidays. Yet again, this is 25 days of Goutmas. Hopefully everything's going well for y'all. Let's get it.
Couldn't look away from the train wreck. You can blame it on the tech or the disrespect. Before you play back, button check. Button check.
What is up, Butt Check family? Welcome back to yet again a beautiful day, a beautiful Friday of buttons that need to be checked. We got two today. If you noticed earlier, we had a dedicated video to a sponsor that was...
Okay, I'm going to let Ernesto get to his sponsorship grind. Give me just a second. But let me give you guys the actual title of this. Remember, all links to videos will be down in the description. So we're here with Button Check and Ernesto. Big ups. I'm not sure if he's going to end up getting a shout out in the up and coming Asmongold interview. I'm not sure if he's going to get one or not. If he do, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, just maybe, that would give Ernesto some reason to want to speak to DSP later on down the line. If he can get that rub. I don't know. DSP comes across to me, and I've tried to illustrate this to all of you. DSP's a gatekeeper. I don't care how any of y'all want to put it. He's a gatekeeper. and whatnot. And Ernesto didn't necessarily do what he wanted him to do in them having that talk, that conversation, or whatever. So I don't know if Ernesto comes up. Is DSP going to be like, hey, let me give Ernesto the rub, and then later on, while I'm trying to, because you know DSP, like I told you, this whole Asman thing is going to be a springboard so he can get other interviews with other people. If he gives Ernesto the rub and Ernesto gets some residuals off that shit, then hey, there could be an interview for DSP down the line. I don't know if DSP has enough forward thinking for that to happen. At the time that you guys see this, you guys can let us know. But something tells me you didn't do what I want. So why should I go ahead and give you anything? That's just my thoughts though, but that's just me. Anywho, we're here with the homie Ernesto. Button check. Let's see. Banned Smash Brother players are reaching a new low. And trust me, this shit's low. This was from November 7th of 2025. Womp, 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 womp. And I don't smell no holiday bacon cooking. Well, we about to get on that. Here we go.
Earlier today, so if you guys rock with it, I appreciate it. If you don't, I thank you for tuning in right now. I talked about that video on 2 separate videos or episodes of Button Check because I wanted to let you guys know the story behind it, you know, just didn't want to put it out there cold turkey. But either way, thank you guys for all the mad support. We got this one, some insane, ridiculously insane to the point where it's just dumb. I gotta be honest with you, it is so dumb that my head hurts. You ever heard?
And see, this is one of the reasons why the Smash community is looked at the way it is. And this is the reason why some of these TOs especially are so desperate to have, I'm gonna literally say the term, but they're so desperate to have technicals and the franchise lynched as quickly as they can, and they can't do it. But that's the reason why they want them guys strung up so damn bad, because they're one of the few people. I think they're really the top 2. They're definitely the 1-2 option, who literally are coming out here and be like, hey, there are problems in this community, and they need to be addressed. And everybody's like, no, there's no problems. And the way I heard it, Daddy Nintendo, according to Ludwig and whatnot, you know, Hassan Piker's golden retriever, he said that supposedly though that Nintendo's coming down with even more sanctions on these tournaments or whatever. Now keep in mind, for those of you who know, Nintendo's trying to squash this whole Smash community bullshit out anyway. They want Smash and Melee and all that to be a fun, family fun party game. They never wanted a competitive scene. It wasn't built for competitiveness, or at least they didn't design it as such. It is what it is. And now you've got the scene with all these groomers, with all these pedophiles, with all these people that advocate underage drinking. And whether you advocate it or you look the other way, you're still advocating it. And all this other nonsense, they don't want no problem. They don't want none of it. It makes them look bad. You know what I'm saying? It makes them look fucking horrendous. And then with the whole situation with Panda Global and how VGBC ain't sat there and basically try to do a hostile takeover to get them up and out, and then have full sanction over that community, and all the fucked up boy shit they try to do with that, where they were trying to limit certain the top 3 or top 4 announcers. I think it was top 3 announcers to only do their events and not do these other events that could pay them equally as much, if not more, actually more, because they wanted these guys to take a pay cut too. It's ugly. Don't worry, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. I got a whole smorgasbord shit to bring you up. But if you guys watch Technicals, or if you watch the franchise, there's some other channels that have covered some of these stories too. You got the gist of it. But I'm gonna give you guys my hot take on that later. Let alone the hack situation and all that nonsense and just the fuckery that went on with that. And then the tournament organizers tried to hide that bullshit. Whatever. But we'll get to that. But the Smash community is fucked up on a bunch of different fronts. Now let me be very clear about this. I'm not saying there isn't good people over there. I'm not trying to say that there aren't people who want their community to thrive and move forward and trying to fight the good fight. Franchise, technicals, and a lot of people who are cool with them will tell you this. The problem, though, the vector, right, the fucking cancer over there is multifaceted, and it's multi-staged. And truth be told, it all needs to be scorched earth, and then they need to start over. That's what needs to happen. The scene, the way it is currently, needs to completely needs to die out, needs to be killed, needs to be scorched earth. And then they need to start over. It's the only way. It's the only way. And that's the reason why the golden boy over there, air quotes, fucking, what's his name? Leffen is so quick to jump into these other fighting games, and he has for the last couple years, and he keeps fucking up in every community he go into because he's a piece of shit. He's basically DSP, just far more successful. He keeps jumping around to all these other fighting game communities and getting away from Smash because he understands how bad his reputation looks. So his core fan base is sitting there waiting for Leffen's return, and Leffen's don't even really want to go back. Leffen does not want to go back because he knows what's waiting for him. And if the allegations, and if some of the alleged pedophilic or pedophile allegations that is either adjacent to him or that is on him are true, then he don't want none of that problem either. Let alone the gatekeeping he was doing within his own community, trying to get certain people banned from tournaments, trying to get certain equipment banned from tournaments, and yada, 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 yada. The Smash community's all fucked up. It's all fucked up. And I'm not saying there's not bad shit that happens in the FGC as a whole. Trust me, each community's got their problems. Guilty Gear community, I'm looking at y'all. I'm looking at y'all for example. But Smash is fucking trash, bro. It's so fucking trash. It's so fucking terrible. And you got a bunch of people putting their reputations on the line, and it's just, you're gonna go down with the SS, you know what I'm saying, fucking Smash Titanic no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate because there are people over there who are decent people or even good people and want to fight the good fight and want to prove that they're worth the damn, and they can't. They can't. There's too much rot. There's too much Paris. There's too many vectors. There's too much fucking cancer around them. It's really sad. Kinda. Other than that, I still think that shit needs to be scorched earth. That's just me though.
Heard something so dumb that it gives you a damn headache. You gotta take a damn ibuprofen. Anyway, let's check these buttons. It's Friday, it's the weekend. Let's get them, let's go. All right, first up, because the NA actually banned the good Smash players, it is now Japan over the NA in Smash for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Buttons that need to be checked. This is a wild take because
Now keep in mind, Japan always had killers, but but North America basically ran. I mean, I don't know. I could say they could basically ran the scene, to be honest. I mean, you know, you have a couple of Europeans here or there, some people from South America every once in a while. But for the most part, North America basically ran shit for a good amount of time. But not completely, don't get it wrong. Like, obviously, Sweden had their killers. Like I said, Europe has been in the mix. You know what I'm saying? They've always been in the mix, I should say. But Japan always had killers, too.
it's just the way they say it. Check it out. We're gonna.
It's probably fair to say they just focused on better games. they just spent their time focusing on better games, but that's just me. Maybe because I'm bitter and spiteful.
Okay, so there is this band player by the name of Anti, if I'm saying his name correctly.
Yeah. Oh, Anti. Oh, let's talk a little bit about Anti. That boy. This dude. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of his credentials before the shit that he was accused of and shit that he actually did. Anti at one time was the #1 Mario player in the world, and most of you may think, "What the fuck's that?" It's in the Smash scene. That's important. It really is. It's like being the #1 Ryu player or the #1 Scorpion player, whatever. It means something. It really does. And he was a top player. I think he was. My history is gonna be rusty on this, and don't hold me to it. But he was sponsored, if I remember correctly. He was part of T1. It's a Korean team, I believe. And he was riding high. He's a fuckboy. He's a massive fuckboy, and he really liked to get his dick wet. And he swear to God that he's the man of the man, a man of men. So he thinks anything that he see moving with an orifice, he thinks he can get that. And it got him some trouble with some females. I don't know if I personally don't think all the allegations against him are true, but it got him into some trouble with some females. A 15-year-old came out and said that he was providing her alcohol and fucking her when she was underage. Then they said her age was 16. Then allegedly she was actually maybe 17, maybe she was 18. It's hard to say exactly what that situation was. And she got passed around to 3 or 4 other prominent members in that Smash community too. So they're all kind of involved no matter what. If she was 17, whether she was 15 or 17, she was underage. And as it pertains to the underage drinking shit, the point is she was under the age of 21. So it's still providing alcohol to someone who's underage or a minor. No matter how you want to look at it, it still falls into that category. And he's not even the only one to do it. There's other people that have provided, who fuck underage chicks and who provide alcohol to fucking minors or underage people too. And a lot of that shit's just looked to the side. Anyway, Anti was riding high until all these allegations after 2020 came out. Just in case you don't know, that was the infamous list that had 200 plus people on it that were confirmed fucking predators and whatever else. And Anti, his situation got in there on some Me Too shit, and he did some of the shit that he was accused of. Let's not call a spade a spade. He did some of the shit that he was accused of. And this particular girl, this 15-year-old, or 17-year-old, 18-year-old, however old she was, they met at a dating app. She was underage. She shouldn't have been on the app at that time, so she had to been at the very least she was 17. At the very least she was 15. When they finally met up, she allegedly told him what the age was, and he basically said, "Well, just tell everybody else you're such and such age." Now, yet again, that shit's kind of murky because her story ain't changed a few times as well. Make of that what you will. It didn't matter, though, because it ain't no fun if the homies don't get none and she ain't let 4 or 5, 3 or 4 other guys run through her. So it is what it is on that. So even if you want to question that, the underage drinking bullshit, him coming on to chicks kind of aggressive, thinking he has a shot, and I guess you can only miss the shots that you take, so on and so forth. And that basically ran Anti up and out of the fucking Smash community, on top of his shit talking. Other shit already irritated a lot of people, and people who support Anti will tell you, well, that's the reason why they wanted him out, because he was abrasive, so on and so forth. A lot of them said they saw him do some fuckboy shit, and that kind of makes sense why he got kicked out. Make of it what you will. Technicals, as well as a few others, have gone over the case in some way, shape, or form. Either way, he exited himself out, and innocent people don't leave a situation if they really didn't do nothing. But whatever of whatever. But apparently he ain't sat there and wanted to stick his head out and say, well, he's going to say what he's about to say.
I want to say it happened around the time when everybody was getting banned back in 2020. I'm not going to go into his allegations or what he was.
Don't worry, I already did. I didn't go through all of them, though. Trust me, there's more than that. But, that's a surface level. It's a surface glance. It's enough for the time being.
He's convicted of or anything like that as far as like in the community. All I know, he's not really in the community anymore. So he posted this just the other day. I think it was like yesterday.
Yeah, there we go.
NA Smash canned the Salem Zeros Alley. Am I saying that right? Is Ally? Nero's M2Ks of the game. So now the rest of the playing field.
I don't know why M2 King is even up there, because he, unlike some of the other guys, wasn't convicted of anything. He wasn't even on some bullshit and whatnot. Leffen allegedly made up a story about him, and Leffen and people in his crew took it as truth. And then, and this is really sad, M2K had to come out and explain that didn't happen, and then had to explain why. I won't go into that, but that was unfortunate. But Leffen did that shit in the same fuckboy way that Leffen did to the other 5 kings of Smash, to try to basically smear their names in the public eye in the hopes that they would drop out of playing Smash or commit suicide, like what he tried to do to Hungrybox. And with that being said, fuck Hungrybox, because it's really crazy that Hacks ain't sat there and died, basically ain't sat there and died. And truth be told, that was supposed to be you, Hungrybox. That was supposed to be you, because that's what Leffen and his minions were trying to do. They were trying to get you to commit suicide. And when you knew that harassment against Hack was going on, you could have said something. You should have said something, and you didn't. Hacks theoretically, one can make the argument. I'll make the argument because I'm a fuckboy like that. Hacks died for you. Hacks died for you. Because when you were going through the bullshit, Hacks had your back. And he put his name out there in the public to defend you and say that what they were doing was wrong. But when it was time to return said favor, you didn't do it. So now he's in the ground and you're doing whatever fucking shit you're doing. Remember that. There may not be a lot of people that are willing to say that publicly, or even say that to you. I'll say it. I'll say it. I don't condone the harassment that ever happened to you, because I don't. That was just Leffen wanting to get you out of pocket because he couldn't beat you straight up. But to let someone that you said it was your friend go down like that, and you ain't nowhere there, it says a lot about you. It says a lot about you.
Will never receive the ripple effects of their knowledge/minds, and now it's Japan over NA in the first Smash ever real Gen Z shit. Then from there he goes deeper, unfortunately, but he posted this video a few days ago. Check it out.
These Smash is dumb as hell. Yo, look, yo, y'all banned all the predators, right? So a lot of girls will be going to tournaments again, right? Like, it's safe now. All the predators banned, blah, blah, blah. The girls are still not going because all the who are fucking making the scene fun are banned. The girls lost interest. They're like, fuck this shit. Yeah, you banned all the fucking rock stars. This shit.
That's crazy. I'll play it back in full, but that's crazy what this cat's saying. It shows you how fucked up and how fucking and how messed up this community is.
It's whack. I ain't gonna know.
Even though there's a lot of people who don't agree with it, still, the fact that this shit is able to be even, the fact that this motherfucker even posted this shit and thought that it was valid is crazy.
Fucking there's no hot. There's usually like hot cosplayers at tournaments. My telling me like this is having no salaries to tournaments no more, bro. Y'all fucking fucked it all up. Everybody sucks now. The girls don't go anymore. Fucking venues.
Now keep in mind, he only care about getting his dick wet. That's all he gives a fuck about. And funny enough, the same behavior is the same shit that got his ass kicked up and out of there in the first place. But you just keep in mind, that's why he's so hyper focused on this shit. Then again, he really ain't man enough to show his face around there no more either, though. So there was that too.
Canceling, tournament series canceling. I fucked that all up.
Okay, so he says.
No. He says, well, let's bring it back. Don't worry, let's go ahead and bring it back, and you can hear what he said it live in full effect.
There he goes deeper, unfortunately, but he posted this video a few days ago. Check it out.
These smash is dumb as hell. Yo, look, y'all banned all the predators, right? So a lot of girls will be going to tournaments again, right? Like, it's safe now. All the predators banned, blah, blah, blah.
That's literally not true, because you still have chicks out here that alleged that people were trying to either sexually assault them or did sexually assault them. That shit still comes out. On top of that, he's literally saying that, hey, the predators are what the girls were there for. Oh, okay. Well, if that's a hot take.
The girls are still not going because all the who are fucking making the scene fun are banned. The girls lost interest. They're like, fuck this shit. Yeah, you banned all the fucking rock stars. This shit is whack. I ain't going to no fucking there's usually like hot cosplayers at tournaments. My telling me like this is having no salaries to tournaments no more, bro. Y'all fucking fucked it all up. Everybody sucks now. The girls don't go anymore. Fucking venues canceling, tournament series canceling. I fucked it all up.
Imagine needing pedophiles to get laid. According to what he's saying that him and his boys can't get their dicks wet because there ain't no pedophiles there to attract the chicks. That shit is crazy. Shit is crazy. Insane. Oh, this shit's insane. Especially after the allegations that cat was chosen, well, not chosen, but those allegations that he was hit with. And you still out there talking that wild shit. Damn, it's fucking crazy. And he's what? He has to be like 30 now? And you still on, or he used to be close to 30 at the very least, because I think he was like 27. I think he was 27 or 26 when shit went down. Like when he left the community. And that was like 4 years ago, I think. It was like 4 or 5 years ago when Technicals made that video. So yeah, he has to be like in his and he's either in his late 20s or 30. I'd be surprised if he was older than that, but he has to be in like his late 20s, if not 30 at this point. And you still need to try to pull cosplayers to fucking get laid and shit. You can't find a real chick out in the world, bro. You work, right? You have a job. Ain't no chick. I mean, not say you should be pulling chicks at your job, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? You can't pull no chicks out there and just out in the real world and shit. You need to chase around cosplayers or whatever. That's what we doing? You gotta chase around fucking gamer girls or wannabe gamer girls or groupies? All right, bro. I thought you had aged yourself out of that one, but all right then.
Okay, so he says, y'all banned all of the predators.
Mm-hmm.
Now ain't no girls there no more because y'all done banned all the rock stars.
ROCKSTARS equals predators, or ROCKSTARS, sorry, equaling pedophiles. Keep that in mind. Let's not go ahead and muddy the waters and not try to. That's exactly what anti means. The ROCKSTARS in the Smash community, Melee community, and whatever else, they were pedophiles. Just keep it a buck. He was accused of being a pedophile too, so let's keep that a buck. And he was accused back in the day when he was being accused of the bullshit of defending other pedophiles, mainly Nairo Mainly Nairo. Maybe homeboy was he tried to defend the other guy too. What? He definitely Nairo. There's the amount of people that defended Nairo is insane now that I think about that shit. Fucking A. That's insane. Anyway, whatever. He was allegedly, if he wasn't in a group chat with those guys, he was at least talking to them around this time. And he said they were his friends, so he was just trying to see what, making sure they were okay. He didn't want them to remove themselves from the server. That's what he said. But remember, he was accused of defending known pedophiles and in his day too, while he was going through his own allegations. So trust me, Anti is the last person to become about his face to say anything, but whatever.
He said the tournament's his ass now. My boys is telling me ain't no shorties there no more because y'all done banned all the rock stars.
Keep in mind, those same rock stars were preying upon those shorties, and most of them, if not almost all of them, were all underage at one time or another. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Shit's crazy.
Okay, so, community starts reacting. Trust me, we got way more. So far, they're saying putting M2K on the list of a bunch of predators and then blaming it on Gen Z is crazy work.
Nah, that was some fuckboy shit. And I don't know if Anti has any fucking connections to Leffen, but that's like a Leffen type move and whatnot. So there was some people thinking that that's the reason why he threw M2K's or Mewtwo King, his name into that ring like that, because he was trying to muddy the waters on that dude. And remember, for those of you who follow the scene, Mewtwo King just came off of some bullshit with like hit one of his editors or something, who sat there and locked him out of his YouTube channel, and damn near almost deleted the Twitch channel or his Twitch channel as well, over some dumb shit about he wasn't coaching him fast enough or some bullshit. Whatever. Like, there's a lot of fuckboy shit that goes on in the Smash community.
Work underneath that. Maybe they shouldn't have been pedophiles. If I recall correctly, Zero, Ally, and Nero were banned for pedophilia and not being too good at the game. Then continuing, saying Japanese geniuses doubling as non-predators might have had something to do with it, just maybe. And now we stuck with Hitler and
hold on,
Leffen.
That fuckboy right there at the bottom, that's Leffen. The guy you see in the GIF, that's fucking Leffen. That's fucking Leffen. Oh, interesting stuff about him too. Interesting stuff about him. He may have abandonment issues because he's adopted, and whatnot. And maybe that's one of the reasons why that spurs his fucking behavior, amongst other things and whatnot. I'm saying, sorry that people say that your hair wasn't nappy enough. Whatever the case may be, but whatever. Yeah, Leffen's a fuckboy. He's a massive piece of shit. He's DSP, just far more successful. That's all. That's literally the fucking degrees of separation between Leffen and fucking someone like Darkseid Phil. For real. Like, none of the people around him are really his friends. You don't look at them as his friends. They're there to be used. He uses them as attack dogs. He uses them as shields. Nobody has any value. He jumps on these little trends or whatever just to continue to keep his name relevant, and then he'll abandon it right after the fact. Fuck boy. Massive piece of fucking garbage, dude. Holy shit.
Okay, yeah, you see what they're trying to say. But then it gets deeper because there's others in agreement right here saying, not going to talk about specific names, but cancel culture 100% killed NA's skill, and it's an embarrassment to be a part of Team NA. Then beneath that, people go in saying, we should not ban people for being pedos so that the USA can be the best at Smash is a hell of a take. And
I mean, it's not too far off from what DSP was trying to say about Mr. Wiz and the Cannon Brothers and all them and whatnot, because it's funny how he only wanted Mr. Wiz out of pocket because Mr. Wiz had underlings that supposedly was sabotaging DSP's chances at EVO and at EVO West from him actually getting a chance to advance. So basically, DSP saying that, hey, if Mr. Wiz and his cronies didn't fuck me over in the tournament scene, I wouldn't have cared about the pedophile allegations against Mr. Wiz because he's at least giving me a fair shake. I dare one of y'all to tell me different. I dare one of y'all to tell me that that's essentially what DSP was alluding to. Because DSP don't have a problem with pedophiles as long as it doesn't do anything to him. As long as it doesn't bother him. As long as he don't have no backlash. Don't worry. I'll wait. I'll wait.
Cope, Nero, the only one on that list who was doing anything in ult and was the one who needed to go the most. And I would like to...
Even with that being said, Nero was the one that they fought the hardest for. and whatnot. After he sat there and did that situation with Captain Zach, and don't get me wrong, Captain Zach he's not, if it wasn't for his age and the circumstances, you could literally say that Captain Zach preys upon pedophiles, which is basically what he does, or what he did anyway, or he attempted to, just so he could blackmail them later. At the same time, the very people that that Captain Zach was trying to either fuck with or did fuck with him knew what his age was. You know what I'm saying? So don't get that shit twisted. You know what I mean? And if you know Nero's fucking story and shit, you're the adult. At the end of the day, you're the adult. You let him in your room, you let him mount you, you let him do everything else he did to you. Matter of fact, you let him do it twice. You let him do that first night, and then you let him back in your room to do it again. But you're supposed to be the victim. Fuck off. Fuck off.
Hear why you think the things these people have done should be excused. And interesting, do you think Smash skill is directly related to being a pedo? Seems like the conclusion you're drawing here. Then going back to that other side right here saying, this is such a bad mindset to have. I don't care how good you are at a game. If you're a bad person, you don't belong in the community. Being able to attend tournaments is a privilege, not a right.
DSP, are you listening? You should.
Enough with this cancel culture BS. Underneath that, people start responding saying, insane that this is...
Oh, and I still feel this has nothing to do with it, but what our current situation is, sooner or later, they're going to let LTG back in. Sooner than later, they're going to let him go back to EVO, and they're going to let him go back to Capcom Cup. There's no reason at this point not to be honest. They're going to only be able to hold him out for so goddamn long. Sooner than later, they're going to let him back. That's just my opinion. I don't have any... this isn't insider baseball. I have no other assumptions to really draw upon except for there are people in the FGC that are still fighting for him to get unbanned, and sooner than later it's going to happen and whatnot. I try to tell y'all for a better part of a year, probably a little longer, that eventually LTG was going to be back on YouTube. Did he get his original channel back? No, he's still fighting for that. But they did let him make a channel again, and he is starting over. So it's, you know what I'm saying? You could say it was just statistically sooner than later it was going to happen. Well, the same thing with LTG. Sooner than later, they're going to let him back in. Because at the end of the day, bad publicity, good publicity, he's still publicity. That he doesn't have as much well, I think it's debatable, but he doesn't have as much of a stench on him as someone like DSP. But DSP is not banned. No one wants him around. There's a difference. Imagine being banned and people still willing to fight for you compared to you not being banned, but just no one wants you around. Insane. It could only be Phil Burnell. Only could be Phil Burnell.
Even a conversation in the first place, protecting the community is always more important than being perceived as better in a video game. Then continuing along that same train of thought, they go a little deeper saying the problem is everyone's definition of a bad person is different. What also doesn't help is there were already people banned for ridiculous reasons while worse people in the community face lesser consequences. Here's the reason why I think that statement, oddly enough, kind of makes sense, because
I mean, kind of, but not really. First off, foremost, they're right. There is a discrepancy on who is banned from the community and who they don't want in or who's not allowed in and so on and so forth. And yes, you can have a broad definition of what you consider bad and what you consider isn't. If you're someone who grooves children, you're bad. If you're someone who gives fucking underage people alcohol so you can use them sexually later, you're bad on both fronts on that shit. If you're a fuckboy running around trying to poison the well against one particular player and you're going out your way to do it, then you're not good for the community. Like, you know what I'm saying? And yet all of those different examples that I've given you, there are linked to a few different people in the Smash community, and they've all been defended at one time or another and whatnot. And shit, Nairo even got back in. He's back in the scene, if I remember correctly. You know what I'm saying? I think eventually they let his ass back in. So just to keep that in mind. But yet Zero, who is, trust me, Zero's Zero, oh boy. You asking for a chick to use, an underage chick to use ice cubes and all. Anyway, there's he needed to go. But then so did Nairo. So did a bunch of them. It's not a matter of, oh, I'm bad, but I'm not as bad as this person. No, all y'all need to get swept the fuck out. That's not cancel culture. It's a situation where you guys are all a fucking problem and you guys need to get the fuck out. Pure and simple. You know what I'm saying? There is no rehabilitation on some of this bullshit that some of these guys have done. You know what I'm saying? That's just not a thing. And you're just letting them back in. They'll just be smarter predators. That's all it is. They'll just take advantage of other people, but they'll do it in different ways. If any, and some of these guys follow lol cows, so they should know this. Because a lol cow is good for that. As soon as they get their fucking hoof smacked, or whatever the fuck, or they get disciplined or whatever, all they do is change the tactic. No different.
There's been an argument a long time in the FGC. Now, I'm not saying it applies here. I'm not saying that these people that were banned shouldn't have been banned. I'm not sticking up for them in any way, shape, or form. I'm not even saying the first tweet that we read is a good take. Not at all. What I'm trying to say is, I think there was always an argument, and it was actually a good argument when there was a lot of bans in the...
Here, I need to jump in this real fast. I don't know how you would do in an interview setting with DSP, Ernesto. I'm really wondering how you would actually play that. Like, you're not stupid, right? Like, it's very clear, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me just be honest here. Like, Ernesto's not stupid. I've never spoken to Ernesto, but I've spoken to people who have spoken to him. He's not dumb. And I think he'll do at least enough of the work to get an idea of who DSP is and some of the surface level shit that he's accused of. I don't know if it would be enough. Because like I said, like, I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if it's enough. And that's kind of like one of the downfalls. That's kind of one of the drawbacks of the lore and of knowing it, is that you can scrutinize anybody else who doesn't know it, and you'll always be able to play, backseat coach or backseat driver and be like, oh, you should have done this. You should have done that. You got to understand that there are levels to this shit, even to the lore. There's levels to how much lore you can have and depending on situations and how they coincide with other shit or whatever. And you can't really expect the normie to get all of that. There's just not enough time. You know what I'm saying? You would have to go the Stuttering Craig route, and you would have to ISO certain scenarios. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't attack it all. The problem is, the fatal flaw in that is all of that stuff is attached, you know what I'm saying, or adjacent to each other in some way, shape, or form. And based on how DSP pivots from one subject to another, if you can't anticipate what he does, you can only react and get a reaction out of him for so long until he figures out something else, or he stonewalls, or he tries to flip the conversation in another way. All right, you guys don't need no fucking one-on-one shit from me. Go to fucking That Being Said or someone for that. But you know what I mean? Big ups to them. But go to them for that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, like, if you're really going to break DSP down, you kind of, even if you only ISO him to a certain thing, so if you only choose a certain amount of subjects to go after him with, you've got to stay on him. And you can only do it based on how much you know. You know what I'm saying? The street mentality or you know, being book smart and the street smart, whatever, that only goes so far. Because being book smart theoretically means you're better at probably anticipating what DSP could do next, hypothetically. Street smart, you can pivot as he pivots. You may be able to anticipate some of what he does, but you're essentially having to pivot and or react as he does. And DSP is such a scumbag, man. He'll flip that any way he sees fit until he can get himself out of the hole. You know what I'm saying? So that makes it a bit more difficult. But that's neither here nor there. Sorry about all that bullshit.
Future, because some people in the past, what the hell are we talking about the future? Anyway, what I'm saying is, like, especially back in 2020, a lot of people were arguing, okay, here's these bans, and we were seeing bans left and right. We weren't used to anything like this. COVID hit, all this other stuff. But who's making the decisions? And who voted these people in?
Some of those very people who were making decisions on who were supposed to be banned and who weren't were some of the same people defending some of the predators. That's the even more crazy part. You see what I'm saying? So you see what I mean as I said to, I don't know how well Ernesto would do in an interview, not to jinx the guy or anything if it even happens. But you see what I'm saying? Like, the more you know, the more dangerous you can be in set situation, but it can be a gift and a curse. So, like, even with this shit, like, who was in charge of banning these people or having some type of disciplinary actions to be drawn upon? Well, it was a council who, most of the guys on that, or most of the people, because there's a few females on there, who were mentally fucked up too. They weren't predators or anything like that, at least that we know of. But some of them were just kind of mentally unstable, or a lot of them had biases. And so they really weren't trustworthy. They weren't the type of people who should have been in the position that they were in. So that gets murky. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why the stain of predators and pedophiles and all this other crazy shit going on in that community exists the way they do, because there are so many people in positions of power who are willing to cover the shit up. It's really, really, really messed up when you start getting into that shit.
To make the decisions, because it almost seemed like we just started handing out bans willy-nilly, and some people were being overlooked. Some people were getting slaps on the wrist, while other people were getting banned, while some people were getting perma-banned, and we were like, yo, what?
Well, and yet again, it goes back to that shit I said about Leffen, where it was, most of those people were bad people. A lot of them were, actually. But it was also to kind of weave out who people already had problems with already. They already had issues with them, and they just couldn't figure out how to get them out, and then this worked. And you see a lot of that. You see a lot of that. And when you see a lot of that, you see Leffen's name, you see Jisoo, you see a lot of fucking tournament organizers, all their names come up, or it originates back to some of them when you go back and look at why some of the stuff happened. And hell, there were some people on that list that some of those people even defended, which makes it even crazier.
What's really happening? So that's all I'm trying to say. I don't know who this person is, and I'm not trying to agree with them at all, but I've seen that argument before, because I do feel that the FGC kind of unwillingly entered this new stage where we were just like, hey, there's a governing body. Remember there was a Smash COC. It was like code of conduct, like the council. Nobody really voted them in. They were just like the head. They tried to do FGC COC right after that. That thing imploded because people started coming out speaking like there was way too many people in this. Some people were all about themselves. There was too many egos. It was bullshit at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of fuckboy shit that went on with that. And there was people who wanted to get other people out of pocket so they could better their chances later. Or the chances of their favorite player. Or the chances of their favorite player who also happened to be a friend of theirs. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts, absolutely, at the end of the day. And sometimes you don't need to be in a position of power. In some cases, just being adjacent to it is power in itself. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a top player and a well-known player and you're cool with 3 or 4 people on set council, and let's say you're a real fucking piece of shit, maybe you could nudge somebody this way, maybe you can nudge someone that way. You don't tell them that, hey, I already spoke to this person, I spoke to this one. You just go ahead and do it, and then it seems more authentic and organized when the case is brought up and you got 2 separate people or 3 separate people talking about the exact same topic, though they themselves have never coordinated. Things like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if I'd go as far as saying 48 Laws or even a Machiavellian The Prince type situation, but it gets up there. Like, you know what I'm saying? There are some very crafty, cunning people in these communities and whatnot. And most of them are predators. And it kind of goes hand in hand in some ways, unfortunately.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like all of a sudden the FGC just entered this weird stage where people like voted themselves. It's me, I'm the judge. I'm gonna rule who's a good person and who's a bad person. Because unfortunately right now we're going off of Twitter.
But keep in mind too, trust me, there was a lot of people who knew a lot of dirt about a lot of people on a lot of bullshit. Don't get that shit twisted. Do not get that shit twisted. Dude, the Guilty Gear community, for example, they've always had a shitty fucking reputation. Unfortunately. In some cases, I should say. In some cases. They always had a weird ass reputation, a strange ass reputation being sexual deviance. And this is before the Bridget situation. This is before they turned Testament into whatever that situation is, and so on and so forth. Like, there was always like some weird degenerate behavior that came out of some of the people who were in the Guilty Gear community, amongst other things and whatnot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Melty Blood, for example, if you guys even remember that game, boy, they had a shitty reputation on them too, and arguably they didn't really do anything wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just some people who were in Melty Blood also played Guilty Gear, and guilt by association, kind of, sort of. I could go deeper into that, but I'll save that history lesson for another day. But it just is what it is, man. For a lot of things, it was just wrong place, wrong time. Holy shit. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, the FGC has its skeletons too. The FGC itself has its skeletons too. Like, everybody likes to point at Noel Brown, for example. Boy, There's a lot of guys in the FGC who did a lot of fucked up shit. A lot of crazy shit. Scamming people, ripping people off, fucking running little circles and shit. Where they were like snatching up controllers and consoles and shit. Fucking A, bro. Fucking weird ass shit. You had fucking females that were groupies and shit that were literally trying to sleep with players just so they could use it against them later on. All kinds of crazy shit. All kinds of crazy shit. Fucking A, like, you just had a lot of female groupies in general, just passing that shit out like they were passing out Halloween candy and shit. Like they were giving that ass away like they were giving away flapjacks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me stop. Let me stop. Some of them probably ain't moved on, got married, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. But boy, I gotta tell you, you think that shit, you think you know something. So, I've heard stories. I've heard tales. And shit, whatever, bro. It's crazy shit, man. FGC is a wild ass place. So when DSP tries to tell you, oh, YouTube was the Wild West, the FGC back in the day was the Wild fucking West. And ironically enough, why don't DSP ever tell nobody none of those stories? Yeah, that shit happened during his day. So how come he never speaks on none of that shit as a funny little anecdote? Why is it always circled or surrounding himself or centering around him? Why can't he tell you an interesting story about what happened in the FGC with all that other shit? Because he wasn't included. Because no one wanted to talk to him. Because no one wanted him around. And more importantly, no one could trust him. Makes you think.
We're going off of social media, and social media is probably the dumbest form of judgment. But, and let me clear it up, there is a clear difference between social media judgment and actual breaking the law. Because some of these cases, y'all, they actually broke the damn law. And that shit is clear as day. There's no arguing that. And I guess along that same train of thought, I noticed this person actually posted this damn clip. Check this out.
You guys are naming people that are like sex offenders and out there racist and fucking...
Oh, I don't know why he's even talking about that racist nonsense. Because if you know XQC's lore, you know why he ain't got himself kicked up out of the fucking Overwatch League and whatnot. I don't think he's the last person to be talking about racism being what he ain't pulled. You know what? Let me stop. He ain't the only one. It's not like he's the only one in the Overwatch League that was caught up saying some bullshit and whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny coming out of him. That's kind of ironic. You know what I'm saying? The holiday season, you know what I'm saying? It's the time in the season of giving. I'm willing to go ahead and send shots all over the place if need be. But fucking XQC is the last person that need to be talking.
Like, fucking people that promote harm and shit. Yo, that's not canceled. That's the law.
He's not wrong. I'll give him that.
That's the fucking law. When you do a crime, you go to jail.
Or you should.
You're not canceled. You're a criminal.
That clip right there.
Then again, keep in mind though, currently in the DSP detractor community, if you go ahead and you critique a fellow detractor, you're gatekeeping. So that's a thing too. Is that not a form of cancel culture, or even reverse cancel culture? So let me give you a hypothetical. So if a detractor does something stupid, and a couple of guys come out publicly and say, "Yeah, that was pretty fucking stupid. That's pretty fucking dumb. Why the fuck would you do that shit?" That, according to a narrative that's going on right now, is considered you trying to cancel them. You're gatekeep, or you're not cancel them. I'm sorry. You're trying to gatekeep. No one's preventing you from doing stupid shit. People are just laughing at you and critiquing it after the fact. If that's the case, then we literally are trying to cancel DSP out of existence. If that was the case, semantics.
There actually reminds me of the movie Liar Liar, I believe it's called, with Jim Carrey, and he's the lawyer, and he all of a sudden has to tell the truth, where one of his clients called and they're like, he needs your legal advice, and he's like, stop breaking the law, asshole. Anyway, continuing on, people are like, cancel culture, we're talking about pedophiles. This community is beyond saving because people like this still exist in it.
Facts.
Then others saying, anybody who agrees with this, block me right now. Saying you'd allow pedophiles in your community because they're good at the game is disgusting.
But it's not the first time that's even been brought up, but whatever.
only a disgusting human would agree with that sentiment. And then more saying, I preferred the scene when there were pedophiles in it, actually. Being a little sarcastic. And then wah wah, this one has over 1,000 likes by the way. Wow wow, we banned all our pedophiles and now we're not the best. If those kind of people brought us to the top, I don't want to be at the top. Japan should have been considered better than us for a long time.
Good take. Good take.
Then right here saying, bro is mad that the pedo Avengers aren't allowed in the scene. Then, before we wrap it up even deeper, because Auntie post again with this clip, let's check it out.
You stupid ass Smash NA niggas are just too fucking dumb. I don't get the point of what I'm saying in this post. Do you think that they don't have their pedo is in Japan?
See, you see where the ignorance comes from? Just because, hey, our people over here are bad, but there's bad people over there too. You're all bad. At the end of the day, the fact that you even had this argument being what you were accused of, man, you need to wake your ass up, boy. Boy, you need to wake your ass up.
Europe, South America, fucking Africa Smash, fucking, where else? What other country? Australia Smash. They probably do, but only in North America, you try to take fucking governing people into your own hands. This is the only fucking place in the world. Y'all think y'all are, everyone thinks they're a police officer. They're not the police.
Oh, so because I'm not the police, I shouldn't speak upon fuckboy shit that I see going on, so I should just let this shit happen. Okay, if that's how you want to play it, buddy. If that's what the situation is, hey, like he said, yo, I'm not the Popo, I'm not the FBI, I'm not the CIA, I'm not the Mossad, I'm not the fucking German intelligence and shit. I'm none of that shit. I'm not in any type of governing body or any type of arresting or judicial type of situation. So if I see some fuckboy shit happen, I'm not the law, so who the fuck am I to sit there and have an opinion about it? Okay, if that's how you want to play it.
Y'all can't handle these fucking cases. Y'all don't know the whole facts of everything, and y'all just cast judgment. I bet he's banned.
Oh, so we're playing semantics. All right, Negro. Fair enough.
He's guilty. He's guilty. Only in North America that happens. That's what I'm trying to fucking say, you idiots. Your fucking peanut brains can't handle what I'm trying to get at.
Well, did you ever think that maybe those other countries or whatever actually do police their shit and actually keep on top of their stuff or whatever? That they actually hold their own accountable? Do you ever think about that? You want some salt with those peanuts? Want me to get you a beer? You can't give it to the underage chick that's next to you, though. You gotta drink it yourself. I'm just asking.
Time to spell it out. Let me spell it out for y'all. Give me the Disney Channel 1.
Okay, so he says, y'all don't think that Japan and Australia and all these other people have their pedos as well? But we're the only country that cares about that stuff. And
call it out and try to actually do something about it, even though if you really look at the North American scene, there's not really a whole lot being done, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? They get out, they take action against people who they damn sure don't want there, that will make them look bad, or people who they need to get up out from political reasons. It's not like we're out there doing the right thing. Let's be honest.
That tries to ban it, but we're not the police. We're dummies, you know. Other people have pedos too, but they ain't tripping. We make a fuss over pedos, not them. Why are we so extra about some pedos? The rest of the world don't care about no pedos. They celebrate the pedos. Hey, they have pedo day, pedo month. Not America. We're uptight. That's what he's saying. And
that's what he's saying.
Well, we're stupid, we're the police. Okay, see, there goes that point again. And on one hand, I understand it, because I don't think that Twitter should be allowed to govern shit and decide who's bad and who's good. That's some crazy ass shit. But when it does come to cases that have been proven, if you can prove the case, like if you got the receipts and you are a sex offender, or you are sexually harassing, or you are clearly breaking the law, I mean, it has nothing to do with cancel culture at that point. Your ass gotta go. That's just the rules. There's clearly a difference, right? Between when people are dogpiling cancel culture and saying you're a bad person and they want you gone for personal reasons. That shit is like ass. A lot of people go through it, right? Anybody that has their face out there and they're well known, you're gonna go through some shit like that. But when it comes to you breaking the law, and then it gets to social media and people are looking at it on social media like, he did what? She did what? And then they're mad at you, and then they're dogpiling because of what you already did. That's a
And the thing is though too, right? If you know Anti's case, if you're somewhat thorough with Anti's case, you can see how he's trying to finagle his way back in and whatnot, because he feels like, hey, shit was taken out of context, shit was taken out of proportion. No one really wanted to hear me out because of the past dumb shit he had did, and people just got tired of him, so on and so forth, and no one really gave him a fair shake on some dark side Phil shit. So maybe you're seeing the method and the madness on why I chose this. But so he's trying to use that as a way of finagling himself back in. But yet again, he must need some salt with those peanuts, or maybe he needs some toffee covering or whatever. Maybe he wants some seasoning on it or whatever, because just the way he's going about it is just not smart.
whole different ballgame. Then let's wrap it up right here. They say there is no tasteful way to say it, but it does suck that a ton of these people who needed to go also happen to be some of the greatest minds and entertainers in the competitive space, suddenly leaving a bunch of clueless kids to pick up the pieces undeniably mess things up. This man said some of the greatest minds and entertainers.
Yeah, see, and that's the reason why people get protected the way they do in the Smash community, because they look at this outward, you know what I'm saying, type of outer benefit, I should say, that these people have, and that's enough justification to keep them around. It's wild, bruh. It's wild, son.
Some of the greatest minds and entertainers in a competitive space. Not in Smash, not in the FGC, hell, not even gamers, in a competitive space. Damn, I didn't know we was getting down like that. I didn't know the Smash community had the greatest minds and entertainers. I didn't know shit. There it is, Butt Check family. Devin, let me know how you...
Which is crazy too, because there is no money in Smash. Like, unless you're, you know what I'm saying, unless you're on a team or you're sponsored or whatever. Other than that, there's really no money in Smash. Like, they've, like, especially since Panda Global, they have fucked themselves financially in so many ridiculous ass ways. It's crazy. It's so fucking crazy.
I'm feeling, this is crazy, man. It's crazy and it's sad, because at one point, I remember when I first came into the FGC, I didn't know shit about Smash. My son played it, my kids played it, and they were idiots.
Well, yeah, because it was that party game that was off to the side on the side tournaments. And they were desperate to be looked at as a legitimate fighting game. And I'll say it now, it's not. It's a fun game, sure, but I don't consider that a fighting game and whatnot. It is what it is. Now, maybe people's sentiments have changed over the years. If it has, good for them. That means it shows growth. But, like, it's just, it wasn't never looked at it as such. And then more importantly, not that it needs validation or it helps validate, but even Nintendo itself has said, hey, we don't want our game to be looked at as a fighting game. We don't want it to be taken competitively, to have a competitive scene. We take it seriously. We want it to be this fun game, this fun party, family, friends oriented game. And you can understand why, because when you start getting classified as a fighting game, now there's a learning curve. You know, that bullshit that DSP likes to go ahead and spew, you know, his bullshit gatekeeping. Nintendo don't want that. They want their game to be accessible to everybody. If you go by the DSP fucking logic, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? Fighting games have this incredible learning curve and you got to keep up with it 24/7 or you're never going to be good. And if you weren't there when the game first came out, then you can never expect to actually rise to the top because you weren't there in the beginning. So you don't have an understanding of how the game started. You know, retarded shit like that. Nintendo doesn't want anything to do with that. They don't want anything to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Do you know that there's a competitive fucking Mario Kart scene? And it's been out for decades at the very least. And whatnot. Nintendo's never spoken about that, but they did have an official, well, I think it still might have an official website and whatnot. They have the little side tournaments and shit at some tournaments or whatever, but they never tried to push for Nintendo's recognition or any bullshit like that. They kept it what it was and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Could that go mainstream and Nintendo actually back it up? I think they could. I would even say I think they should, but they don't want it to be like a Gran Turismo or, you know what I'm saying, or anything like, or like a Need for Speed. They have actual competitive scenes or whatever. They don't want anything like that, even though that's crazy money. That's crazy money if Nintendo made actual peripherals, like real peripherals. I don't mean that little controller that you can put your, you know, your Switch or Switch 2 controller into and you can use that steering wheel like that. Like if they actually had a situation where you could have your Mario racing setup, you know what I'm saying, your wheel, throttle, you know what I'm saying, your pedals and whatever, this, that, and the third, that shit would sell. That shit would fucking hella sell. But there's never been a push from the from the Mario Kart community in no serious way that I've seen that would actually warrant that. Even though that could be a thing. But yet again, Nintendo wants to keep all their shit lighthearted, keep it family party oriented. They don't want the deeply, they don't want a deep competitive community because they know the bullshit that comes out of it. You know what I'm saying? And more importantly, the people behind it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, there are good people. Where there are bad people, there are good people. And where there are good people, there are bad people. In the story, people are people. They can be as talented as they want to be and still be massive pieces of shit behind the scenes. And Smash, for the most part, have that situation where, kind of like DSP do, hey, oh, whatever they do, as long as it's away from us, then that's not our problem. And then when it's in the scene, if they can sweep it up, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what? You sound like you're the problem. You're calling out bullshit and you can't prove it. You sound like you're the problem. Maybe you need to go. You don't believe me? Ask Technicals. They'll tell you.
Right? I had no idea how big it was and how passionate that community was. In a way, I was jealous, man, because I would see some of the events they would throw, and I would see some of the things. They would do a roast. They did hot ones or hot wands with Hungry Box. They were so fucking creative. They would do rap songs and shit. I was like, yo, these guys got some talent in that community as far as like beyond just Smash. And I would look at us and like, why doesn't the FGC, you know, what?
The FGC does have talent, and keep in mind, some Smash players have actually stepped away from Smash and tried to get into the FGC games. It wasn't just Leffen. He's not the first one. Like there was that cat's name. I want to say his name was Alucard. I think he was out of New York. He was a Smash player, and then he came in during, I want to say, the Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the first one, vanilla, and he was setting shit up. He was wrecking shop for a bit and whatnot, and Smash was the only game he had ever really had any experience with before he jumped over to Mario. Sorry, when he jumped over to Marvel 3, and he tore the shit up. You know what I'm saying? If anything, he accredited his time in Smash for helping him with Marvel. So Marvel 3. So that's the thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of crossovers and shit. And truth be told, like, there's a lot of guys in the Smash community who got the fuck out because they saw the writing on the wall, and two, there wasn't no money in it. They still play Smash, but you putting all that time in competitively, that doesn't get you anywhere unless you're making content and or streaming or both. You're not making any money off the tournament scene. It's just not a thing. You go into a tournament is like it's almost kind of like the reverse. You go into tournaments and doing well is like the mixtape. You know what I'm saying? But your streams and your YouTube channel or wherever you put your videos at or whatever, that's where your money's actually made. On top of, like I said, sponsorships and everything else. It's really kind of strange, where in the FGC it's kind of the other way around, so to speak. But, you know, I guess it's debatable. There's levels to that shit.
You consider them FGC or not. But I was like, why does everybody else, Street Fighter, Tekken, you know, everybody else, why are we not getting together and doing that? Looks fun. Like, they're actually coming together and doing some shit, and their numbers were dwarfing us. I was like, fuck. And I mean, their payouts, unless they did Matcherino or something like that, wasn't as big as us. But I was
about to say their payouts weren't jack shit. Let's be honest. And Matcherino, I don't think was even out at that time, to be honest.
Like, holy shit, they don't even got the damn support of Nintendo. But they are.
There was a reason for that. Like, whoever it was who said at Nintendo who said, yeah, we shouldn't be backing that. They knew what the fuck they were doing. It took some years later to figure it out, but they especially with the fall of Panda Global. And don't be wrong, and let me be very clear about this. Panda Global didn't do everything right. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Allen didn't do everything right. Let me be very, very clear about that. But for it to go down the way it did, the community would be far stronger if they had had Panda Global and theoretically that governing body over VGBC. Now you don't have either. That's the funny part about that shit. Yes, I will laugh at the motherfucker's face over that shit. Y'all as a community sat there and watched Panda Global burn right in front of y'all, even though some of y'all top people, whether in commentary, content creators, and streamers, and even players, were sponsored by them. You ain't sat there and let that shit go, right? You let them die, right? And then fucking Summit ends up falling not too long afterwards, and they were conning the shit out of y'all. Then VGBC ends up failing and falling. Now y'all basically don't have shit except for these other these other tournaments and whatever. Payouts ain't shit, and they're all on some fuckboy shit themselves. Imagine that. So, yeah, the Smash community did, and Melee community did everything in their power to string themselves up. It's a fantastic thing to watch. It is really wild to see how they did that shit to themselves. They champion people more often than not. They champion people who really give no fucks about them. You guys are just a means to an end, and none of y'all are smart enough to figure it out. And I'd be justified in calling y'all absolute fucking stupid. But the reality is, y'all just don't know no better. That's really what it comes down to. I don't think you guys are willingly ignorant. I think just some of y'all just don't know no better. And that's the unfortunate part. That's the unfortunate part.
Dwarfing us, and they were back in this game. It was actually, it was super inspiring in a way. Then some time goes on, 2020 hits, everything else hits, and you're like, man, they are literally deteriorating before our eyes. Honestly, I don't even know what the hell's going on in that community now. Before, we used to have it regularly on the channel. There used to be some events here and there. And at one time, it was very prominent. Now, I couldn't even fucking tell you, honestly. It just does not pop on the radar like it used to. This did. Some people were tagging me, and it was going like, you know, viral on Twitter and whatnot. And I was like, this is probably one of the dumbest arguments I have ever.
And Reddit. This shit was all over Reddit. Well, within Smash Reddit, I should say. It was pretty much all over that. I don't know if Charlie said nothing about it, though. I don't know if Moist Critical or fucking Hassan Piker's little fucking golden retriever, Ludwig, said anything, though. I don't know if they said anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they said anything. But, you know, everybody else still was talking about it, which is weird because the two of them had a whole lot to say when Panda Global fell, or they wanted it to fall. They had a whole lot to say there, but they're not saying so much about this, though. Womp, 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 womp.
We're seeing, but this is the
It's almost as if they were part of the problem.
only thing that I've seen. No disrespect to the Smash community, because I know some of you on here play Smash. No disrespect. I know I like to have fun at the end of the day and whatnot.
Yeah, like I said, they're not all bad. They're not. But please believe it's cancer, and that shit needs to just be scorched earth. That's the only way they're going to actually be able to start over, because they need to start over. The way it is right now, they need to let all that shit go.
But every community has its bad apples. It's just unfortunate to see the Smash community when you had so many players that didn't have the support of the devs, and they still did it. They still grew, and it was fucking crazy, you know?
But they ended up proving the devs right. That's the thing. See, that's the thing that no one wants to actually say. Well, everybody's like, oh, Nintendo wouldn't support us. They didn't want to back us. Yada, 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 yada. They saw y'all for the fucking deficit that y'all were. That's what it is. And y'all proved it right. Progressively over time, you proved it right. You proved them right. That's why. That's why Nintendo ain't put all those restrictions on your asses. That's why they still doing it. And they're going to do it until they can squash y'all out. And sooner than later. Like I said, they got nothing but time. Slow and steady. They're going to literally starve y'all out, because that's what they're doing. Because none of y'all can run a tournament officially without a Nintendo license, right? But then there's even restrictions within that shit. And then Smash has such a bad reputation that even getting people to sign on don't work. That's the reason why Moist Critical and fucking Ludwig were able to kind of have their shit popping off, even though they don't have a license and whatnot. So that's why you're just a little mini side tournament. But they know the viewership of people who like to watch Smash and Melee is big. So that still helps pad their numbers and whatnot. And you guys think that fucking Ludwig or Moist Critical give a fuck about none of y'all, and they don't, because they understand what kind of toxic assets that you guys actually are. You know what I'm saying? Even for the good that's in there, that's amongst that community, there's what, 30, 40 people that aren't? You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It's not just a couple of bad apples. We're talking about literal fucking orchards out there fucking rotting, literally on the goddamn stem. And no one can do nothing about it. And everybody's too scared to just go scorched earth. Womp womp.
See that to this, like I said, it's tragic. That it is one more time, Butt Check fam. Thank you for tuning in. It is Friday. Hope you guys enjoyed that weekend. Like I was saying earlier, if you guys rock with that dedicated video, I know it was kind of wonky, but I did explain it twice already because I thought it was cool. It's like a science experiment / AI. It's really like a Sims game, but it's free. It's free, you don't have to pay, you don't have to pay as you play, you don't have to download anything, and it's not a scam. And I've actually been looking at it and messing with it for about like 2 weeks now before I posted today's video. So if you guys enjoy it, like I said, every sponsor is not for everybody. So if you don't, it's all good. I'll see you on the next Button Check, which will be tomorrow. And as always, I don't know what it is, but I know somehow, some way, I don't even know what to put there. I usually say some shit about what I was talking about, but I don't even want to touch that. Either way, what I'm gonna say is, it's about to get better. Love y'all forever. Peace.
blah, blah, blah. Subscribe.
Okay, this man said the girls are not going still because the pedos is gone, the predators. But the girls still ain't going because y'all done got rid of the rock stars. The rock stars was making it fun. Y'all got rid of them. Now y'all got no girls at the scene. You know what? I'm curious. Let's take a look at the rock stars. I'm gonna go to the side right here. Can we put the rock stars on the screen? Bam, there they go. These are the rock stars, y'all. These are some of the rock stars. This is how they look when they were banned.
You see how Mewtwo King's not up there, right? Because yet again, he didn't get accused of any of that bullshit and whatnot. Not at all. His name has never come up in any of that shit. The reason why I can think Anti's dumbass even threw his ass in there is on some Leffen bullshit. And what Leffen did to Mewtwo King was to try to humiliate him and either get him to kill himself or remove himself from the server, whatever you're comfortable with, or to get him to just stop playing altogether. So that's what that situation was. So Anti doesn't even realize how he was being used. But you know what I'm saying? Stupid is as stupid does.
You got this guy, he lead guitar. This is a drummer right here. I think they all own the vocals as well. And these are rockers. These are the rock stars. And I get it now. See, at first I thought Anti was full of shit, but now looking at the rock stars, you could tell. Just don't these pictures just scream lady killers? It's just crushing ass. Just crushing ass. I bet if the camera, like if the photo were to zoom out on these pictures, you would just see pussy dust everywhere. Just ass remnants, just a cloud of ass smoke, like a construction site of ass. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Just covered in dust, in the face like you in a desert of ass, just everywhere. Can't even breathe. I'm choking on ass remnant. Cause just smashing ass. See, it goes with it, smash. They smashing ass. Just
either that or minors,
for days.
unfortunately.
You know? But because these guys are gone, y'all get nothing. The rock stars. Y'all
keep in mind though, too, the #2 player in North America, I'm not sure if he's still #2. What's that guy's name? It's Chris something. He sat there and he's linked to the hack situation. But he literally came out and said that when he was 14 years old, he was forced to fuck his own mother. And he told people that willingly. So don't get it twisted. There's some weirdos still in Smash and whatnot. There's your top 2 guy right there.
Got rid of the rock stars. Now you don't get no pussy dust.
Oh boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go on that. Let me say this. And I've said this before. I give Ernesto a lot of credit because he's been around for a long time, and there was a time right around, just in case you guys may remember this, right around the Madden tournament shooting that happened in Florida all them years ago. He had reported on it, and there's huge public backlash. LTG tried to jump on that shit and say, you know, you guys are sitting there praising this guy, and he's sitting there taking advantage of the dead as if fucking LTG ain't done that himself. Whatever. And, you know, that could have very well hurt Ernesto and shit. And he's bounced back over the years. It was a mistake. He learned from it, and he's bounced back. I give him a lot of credit because most people wouldn't have had the perseverance to do what he did. Because I'm talking about before that Madden situation where he reported on it, I should say. He was on the uptick. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was, you know, he should have been at 100,000 subs by now. And, you know, like I said, it was all it takes is, you know, one mistake and whatnot. Like I said, he took it on the chin like a man and shit. He apologized and whatnot, and you know, he kept building. And I give him a lot of credit for that. Because he's good at what he does. He doesn't cover everything, but I can't expect him to. And doing 2 videos a day, three videos a day, that just becomes too much. Even if it comes into something as like FGC, well, maybe 2 videos a day, I'd be okay with that. 3 or 4, you're starting to get in the ugly ground and shit. And that he just won't be able to cover all of it. Because a lot of that shit are just skirmishes. As soon as they pop up, they die out. But anyway, I give Ernesto a lot of credit for what he's done over the years and whatnot. And I'm glad he stuck with it. That's the main point of it, is I'm glad he stuck with it. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of cats that are built for tough like that anymore. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, this has been 25 Days of Goutmas. Thank you guys very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow and whatnot. We'll continue the trend. And yet again, I hope your season's going well. And take care of yourselves out there. Watch out for, you know, there's a lot of crazy people out there. Just take care of yourself, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, it's all brought to us by, as usual, SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company, Hard Snorts Gin and Tonic, and Tim Snortons. You know what I'm saying? Stay salty. And take care of yourselves, people. Like I said, happy holidays. Oh boy. Later. I bet y'all thought I was going to talk more shit about the Smash community, didn't you? Sorry, man. Don't worry. There'll be more to come. There'll be more to come. But let me go ahead and exhibit some mercy and whatnot. Not because it's the holiday season, but because I'm big enough to do so. Until I feel a bit more petty. Take care of yourselves, people. Later.